You're sitting somewhere minding your own business, and out of nowhere, you just know someone is looking at you. You can feel it on the back of your neck, like a change in the air. So you turn around, and there they are, eyes already on you. You've felt this. Almost everyone has. In surveys, around 9 out of 10 people say they've sensed it. The feeling of being watched, even with no one in front of them. And for thousands of years, we've explained it the same way. A sixth sense. Some invisible thread running between your eyes and theirs. There's just one problem with that. When scientists actually put it to the test, it completely fell apart. And what they found instead is so much stranger. And it's running inside your skull right now as you watch this. Let's start with the myth, because honestly, it's a good one. The idea that a stare has a force, that being looked at is something you can physically detect like heat off a fire, is ancient. So in the 1980s, a researcher named Rupert Sheldrake decided to test it properly. The setup is beautifully simple. You sit in a chair facing away. Behind you, at random moments, another person either stares at the back of your head or looks away and thinks about nothing at all. And you just guess. Am I being watched right now? Yes or no? If we really do have a sixth sense, you should beat random chance. Easily. Sheldrake ran it and reported a tiny effect. Case closed, right? Not quite. Because when skeptical scientists ran the same test, sealing every gap, making sure the starer couldn't give off any accidental clue, the effect just evaporated. Person after person guessing into the dark, scoring exactly what you'd score by flipping a coin. So here's the headline, and it's going to feel wrong. You cannot feel someone staring at the back of your head. There is no beam. There is no sixth sense. But wait, that just makes it more mysterious. Because if the sense is fake, why does the feeling work so well? Why do you turn around again and again and actually catch someone? The answer is that your brain has a dedicated piece of hardware for exactly this. And it is frighteningly good at its job. Tucked along the side of your brain is a region with a clunky name. Forget the name. Here's what it does. It is a watcher-detector. Its whole purpose is to sweep the world for eyes and to work out instantly whether those eyes are pointed at you. And instantly is not me being dramatic. This system locks onto a gaze in about a fifth of a second, faster than you can consciously think. Babies do it at 4 months old, before they can even sit up. We come into the world already hunting for the moment when something looks back, which makes total sense when you remember what we are. For almost all of human history, two things might be staring at you, and both mattered enough to die over. A predator deciding whether to chase, and another human deciding whether you were a friend or a threat. Catching that gaze half a second early was the difference between living and not. The people who were a little paranoid about being watched? Those are your ancestors. The ones who couldn't be bothered didn't get to become anyone's ancestor. And here's my favorite piece of the puzzle. Look at a human eye. Really look. We have a big bright white around the colored part. Almost no other animal does. In most species, it's dark, hidden, so a predator can't tell where they're looking. We went the opposite way. We evolved eyes that broadcast our gaze, that make it easy for everyone around us to see exactly what we're looking at. We are a species built on purpose, both to watch and to be watched. We turned our own eyes into a signal. So now, here's what's actually happening when you feel it. You think you're not looking. But the edges of your vision, your peripheral vision, never switch off. They're feeding your brain a constant, low-resolution stream of everything around you. It's blurry out there. You can't consciously make out a face. But your watcher detector doesn't need a clear picture. It catches the shape of a head turned your way, the angle of two eyes aimed at you, and it fires, quietly, underneath your awareness. You don't get a neat thought that says, there's a person at 4 o'clock looking at me. You just get a feeling, a prickle, an urge to turn. Your conscious mind has no idea where it came from, so it reaches for the spookiest story it can find. A sixth sense. And sometimes it's even simpler than that. It's a reflection in a window you didn't realize you were watching. A tiny shift in the sound of a room as someone goes still to look at you. Or, this one's sneaky, the other person catches you starting to turn and looks up in the same instant. You catch them looking because you made them look. There's one last piece, and it's the least magical of all. You remember the hits. Every single time you turn and someone is there, it burns in, see, I knew it. But the 100 times you turn and no one's looking? Those vanish without a trace. Your memory is quietly stacking the deck, keeping the wins, deleting the misses, until a coin flip starts to feel like a superpower. So, no. You can't feel a stare land on the back of your neck. But the truth underneath is so much better than a sixth sense. It means that under the surface of your ordinary, distracted day, a piece of your brain older than language has never once clocked out. It's always running. Right now, as you sit here watching a screen, it is quietly checking the room, the edges of your sight, the corners you're not even looking at. Scanning, endlessly, for the one thing it was built to never miss. Another pair of eyes turning toward you? You don't feel watched because someone is watching. You feel watched because some part of you is always watching for them.